Run steep, get high. Run flat, stay low. Run the mountain, run the road. Run past the 8-stand to the commode. Oh, run steep, get high. Run flat, stay low.
Oh, well, that ended quick. I should not type while the theme song is playing. I was trying to just say hello to Matthew Feldhake here in the chat room, but welcome to the Mountain Outpost podcast, episode 33. Sorry we cut short our theme song, and I'm here with my co-host, Skizzlefresh Skylar Hall. How you doing? We just saw each other. I think we said our goodbyes at the finish line of the race.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a good time. We had a good weekend.
Phenomenal time. Yeah, no, we spent a lot of quality time together. All 7+ hours in the studio, and then we hung out for probably another hour or two at the finish line as I was searching for my phone and DJing. Dude, it was good. It was quality. I was broken. 29+ hours up straight between the live stream, running back to the hotel, getting ready, dinner, concert, straight from the concert to the finish line to DJ, hang out at the finish line once I was done DJing, and then a rough drive back where I was just like, all right, let me get some caffeine in the system and just function. 3 hours of sleep, then got on a flight. So that's exactly what you want to do 7 days away from your A-race marathon. But hey, the things we do, the sacrifices we make for our people. So no, man, I'm good. I'm excited.
Awesome.
Had a great time this weekend, and getting ready for a big week. But we got a lot to cover this episode. So first off, how are you doing? Have you recovered? Have you rested? What's up in your world?
Oh, I feel great. I got a little bit of sleep. I got decent sleep Sunday night. I did crash pretty hard, pretty much as soon as trick-or-treating was done, passed out. And then maybe got a little bit of sleep more since then, but it's been, I just came from the park. We just wrapped up folded up the last tent, basically, this afternoon, pulled the last vehicle out of the park. So, that feels good to be done with that, and everything is back. The park is now returned to its normal, quiet self for now. We're ready to move on to the next thing, Let's do it.
Absurd. Yeah, no, Javelina was an experience for all involved. Shout out to everyone who was on course, hanging out in headquarters, said what's up. Shout out to everybody who was in the live stream, all 4 or 5 editions of it, yelling at us and harassing us. It was great to have the community, both virtually and in person, back and making things happen. So we have a lot to break down about how the race unfolded and what it means for who's accepted their golden tickets, what's going to mean for Western states in June of 2022, which will be here before we know it. I mean, these people are about to start the training cycle for that, basically. But we also have a lot of other things that happened in the running world and that are going to happen this upcoming weekend. So before we delve into it, I must ask you, sir, what are you drinking?
Oh, well, I'm drinking whatever you left me, which is a massive upgrade from the normal, whatever I have. So this is Dogfish Head Pumpkin Ale. Thank you so much for that.
And thank you to Tops Liquor in Tempe.
Oh yeah, shout out to Tops.
Kept me functional when I lived there, and I had to support them when I was in town. I am going with it's November, right? It's basically the end of pumpkin season, right? We're making that turn into like Christmas sales and whatnot. So in solidarity with you, I have the last of my Southern Tier beers that I have in the fridge. So this is the Warlock, that Imperial Pumpkin Stout. And this will pretty much be the last pumpkin-based drink I have, I think, barring finding something miraculous while I'm in New York City. So it's time to say farewell to pumpkin spice latte season and hello to Christmas ale and peppermint season. So cheers, sir.
Cheers. Just
All
want
right.
to first
Yeah,
take
go
a
for it.
quick shout out to everyone who's in the chat right now. I think all 19 of you watching, thank you so much. Appreciate you. But we got not only Matt Feldhake, but Rob Ricardo in the chat. So hello. Great to have everyone here. We've got already some questions being generated. This show, of course, is live, and we would love to hear from you in the YouTube chat. If you came to Javelin 100, if you saw it from afar, what did you think? Will you be joining us next year? Ways to improve the live stream, whatever you want to drop in there, or just random questions. But Matt was curious if I'm still wearing the same shirt since Saturday, because I was wearing a rabbit blue tee, but that one was the Aravaipa staff shirt. This one is actually the shirt that the participants got. So Javelina iRun 100. I just snagged it. We have all of the merchandise from Javelina 100 is back, and it should be live on the mountainoutpost.com. That is now our go-to store for all things merchandise, Aravaipa Running and Run Steep Get High, and all of our different brands. So check out mountainoutpost.com. Go to shop, and items should be there. They were counted and inventoried, so if they're not, I will be doing that as soon as this program's over. But, yeah, here we are.
Awesome. Yeah, I actually saw somebody on my flight home repping the participants iRun 100 shirt. So it's a pretty
shirt,
blue, I must say.
The shirt is fire. It's super comfortable, and I love the color. And then you add all the Javelina colors in it, and it just pops. So it's great.
Good. No, you guys did a great job. And shout out to all the sponsors who helped make the weekend possible. I mean, just the expo, all of the festivities that occurred in headquarters and even out on course. They did a great job in supporting. So shout out to Hoka, Goo, Rabbit. I'm forgetting a bunch, I'm sure.
Soul Sports.
Gooder.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gooder. Man, I meant to steal a pair of the glasses, and I goofed on that. So if you might be
getting a pair. You might be getting a care package soon.
Yay! That's what I need is just more clutter. That's what my fiance tells me.
I mean, if it helps declutter my space, it's a win. Okay.
Oh man, there's a Tom from MySpace joke built in here somewhere, but I'm gonna let it ride.
Yes.
Is that before your time? Oh man.
MySpace. I had a MySpace, bro. I know I'm not with all the pop culture, but I am older than you, so.
I gotta keep you on your toes. Gotta keep you relevant. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to pass on all the things that the high schoolers pester me about on a daily basis at practice to you. So. Yeah. Well, welcome to your existential life crisis.
Love it. Do we want to jump into any more?
Yeah.
Well, we got a couple more questions in the chat. I don't want to ignore those because there's some good ones already. But then we could jump into definitely, I think, some of your run flat news, and then we can just basically fulfill the rest of the time with probably Javelin 100. I entered more than one lottery yesterday, so I think people are now now that I think Javelin 100 kind of marks, I feel like, a certain end of the season. I'm just going to say it. I don't know if it's true, but it's like Javelin 100 happens. It's kind of the end of the Western States qualifying window-ish, pretty close. And then people are like, lottery season is starting. So you're starting to think, what am I going to do next year? You know, we've only got 2 months left of the year. I mean, first off, everyone should sign up for Across the Year's Last Person Standing. Do it right now because I just signed up for it, and we need more people, and it's going to be so fun. So do that first. But then next year, people are really starting to think, what am I going to do in 2022? What are my big goals? How do I set myself up the next couple months? You know, is it a little bit of an off season? Am I starting my training now for next year? You know, these are questions people are asking. So we will get into that. But first off, well, Charlie Seymour, I think he's being a little ridiculous. He's asking what race we're talking about earlier. I think we know that. Thoughts on TVE coming out of ultra retirement from Rob Ricardo? Did you catch that today?
I did see that in true absurd fashion, just like everything involving Taggart. Mr. Taggart Van Etten announced that he had retired from ultras. He's going to focus on the roads. That goal of making it to the Olympic trials. He's running, I believe, the Minneapolis Marathon on Saturday, and then all of a sudden this morning was like, all right, listen, I said I was going to break 12 at Tunnel Hill. I didn't accomplish that. I'm a man of my word. So let me go ahead and knock it out and try to break 12 at Tunnel Hill, which is absurd. Like,
guess what else he said. Guess what else he said.
Was there, I had to read more. What else did he say?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if he's trying to say he can't go back on his word, I mean, sub 11. Anyone?
Yeah, I think that's going to happen at some point. Listen. I don't want to apply unnecessary pressure to the man, but yeah, no, he's. Don't get me wrong. Will a road marathon be a perfect last long run for a 100-mile, what is essentially a flat, fast course? Yeah, theoretically. Like, if he's been doing long enough training runs that would support a 100-miler, then like there's actually a world where this would make sense. But I haven't looked at his Strava. I haven't stalked him hard enough. So I'll be very interested to see how this ends up playing out for him. Super excited because anytime he toes the line, you know it's going to be fireworks. It's not going to be a sit and kick type of race. Not that really ever happens in ultras, but he's going to go hard from the gun. And he's going to drag it out. And there's going to be a bunch of people who, might get pulled along with him. So no matter what happens, it's going to be a fast Tunnel Hill. It's always a fast Tunnel Hill, but it's going to be lightning fast. So I'm stoked. I'm down for it. I'm here for it.
Skylar, what shoe are you racing in for New York City?
Indeed, yeah. That goes down this Sunday morning. I'm going to be running in the original Hoka Carbon X. It's the same shoe I raced in Boston. Held up well. It looks like it's going to be slightly drier conditions. At least that's what I was told because I haven't actually looked at the weather for New York. I also haven't looked at a course profile in like a month, so I have no idea what I'm actually doing. But
there's just
the
hills on the bridges. It's fine.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm just going to rock that shoe. It should be fine. Because it's not like the best carbon shoe out there. Like obviously improvements have been made over the last 3 years or whatever it's been since that original Carbon X shoe came out. But it's what I got sitting in the closet that isn't completely beat up and almost at the end of its life cycle. And I do have to double back for a cross-country 10K 14 days after New York and a certain 9,000 foot plus elevation gain ultra 3 weeks after New York. So let me save whatever bit of my thighs I can on this course in New York while going balls out and then see what the rest of November holds.
Yeah, that was a perfect segue because there was a question about what are our running goals for the next few months. So obviously you just said New York City, you got a cross-country race, then you're going into Quad Dipsy.
Mm-hmm. And I might be throwing in one more cross-country race after quad. But yeah, a road marathon, a cross-country 10K, and a 29-mile hilly ultra are 3 weeks apart within November. So that's pretty much it in terms of this month and then maybe that cross race. And then I'm going to start gearing up for another road marathon down in your neck of the woods in January.
Oh, right.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang.
I'm assuming, are we finally just, are we getting Barkley training happening? What's happening with you, sir?
Well, I'm signed up for the at least the fall Desert Runner Trail Series, which is our premier Southwest kind of wintertime running events, like festival atmosphere. So we've got short distance 5K up to 4 mile starting, and then all the way up to either 50 or 100 miles. And there are all these great regional parks around Phoenix. So I'm going to be doing the Pass Mountain 50 miler in 2 weeks, or like a week from Saturday. And then Mcdowell Mountain Frenzy 50 mile, which is right after the running event. And then the Cave Creek Thriller 50K later into December. And then I don't know. We were talking about the ATY last person standing today while breaking down tents at Javelina, and I realized we had 2 entrants, and so I'm trying to jumpstart that. Plus, it was just so much fun last time that I won't have any goals this time, and I don't care if I quit. I don't have to, that's not the primary goal. It's just to go out there and have some fun, get some good miles in, and be participative in it or whatever. So, yeah, that's through kind of the rest of this year. Next year, I might end up doing a couple more Desert Runner Trail Series races. Signed up for Coldwater 100. Let's see, Elephant Mountain 50 mile, and then, yeah, put my name in the hat for some lotteries. Western States, I'm up to 16 tickets for that one. And then Hard Rock, I put in for that again. Got to try and run it in the opposite direction. So naturally, you kind of leave it up to the lottery gods. Once that happens, then you kind of get to dial in your year.
Sweet. And obviously Western States lottery is early December, I guess is the best timeline on that. And Hard Rock, late December, early January on the lottery.
I think a lot of times they're the same day, but I haven't looked. I just saw they were open. I threw my name and I moved on. But yeah, someone was asking about Nick's goals for next year too. He's obviously training for Solstice right now, and that's going to be his big thing. And then he also put in for Western States and Hard Rock. He only has 2 tickets in Western States, so he'll have to see if he tries to race his way in, if he's recovered from Solstice or not. So, yeah.
Worlds?
Next year?
I got to think that he's trying to make that team again, right?
I'm sure, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure.
I think long term. That's probably his goal. I think I
people
can go out on a limb and say that.
People are trying to push us to set aside some of these Javelina drop bags.
No. Sorry. Listen, if I'm going to test my health insurance, I'm going to do so in a bachelor party environment, not a drop bag environment. Let's put it that way. So
that's fair. Right on. Well, should we move ahead to some Run Flat news?
Yeah. Let's tackle it, and we'll be as swift as possible, given that it was a very packed weekend that was, and going to be a very busy weekend forthcoming. So let's back up. Tori gave a prelude last week on the pod that it was going to be a huge week for college cross country, Division I and Division III conference season, basically the kickoff of postseason, and really the last chance to get some very important wins against teams, especially in Division I, that can push you into the national meet. So let's run through some of the larger conferences and things that I personally found relatively interesting. And again, conferences are going to be leading into regionals that occur in 2 weeks from now. This is the last 8K that all the Division I runners on the men's side will be running. They'll move up to 10K for regionals, and then right after that, you're going to have natties. So let's go over to the Mountain West region, Mountain West Conference. On the women's side, you had U.S. number 1, New Mexico, just stunt on the entire field. They had a perfect score, literally took the first 7 positions in the entire race against their conference, which is not full of bad teams. Utah State took second. They're the 28th ranked team in the nation. And then Colorado State, the 12th ranked team in the nation, took third, just 2 points behind Utah State. So all 3 of those teams are also part of the Mountain region, which is probably the deepest region this year on the women's side. So Utah State getting an edge over Colorado State here is a big win for them, because if Colorado State ends up beating them at regionals, they at least have that win and can hopefully help them get pushed in. So really good stuff for the Mountain West and their chance to have a lot of teams representing at natties. On the men's side, Air Force, the U.S. number 11 team, just went bananas, had a 14-second spread between their their first and fifth runners. They went 2, 3, 6, 7, 9, 10, and 11th place, and it was sick. It was disgusting. They just ran all over the rest of their conference. So Mountain West doing big things. Also, speaking of doing big things, the Big Sky Conference, home of your Flagstaff stalwarts, Northern Arizona. They won on both the men's and the women's side. Obviously, the men, number one ranked team in the nation, did exactly what we expected them to do. Went 1, 2, 4, 8, 15. Actually rested a couple people and still comfortably won. And on the women's side, a very good performance by them. The only thing that was a little bit odd about Big Sky is they ran a 5K instead of a 6K on the women's side. No other conference seems to have done this. I don't know what the thinking behind it was, but we'll see if that is a benefit or a detriment once the ladies step up to the 6K distance in a few weeks' time.
Is that why we saw that petition go out, or is that unrelated, or just
unrelated? Yeah, okay. It's just how it happens that way. Like, women run 6K in all the postseason. I think the thought process is always like, well, they can because in high school they probably run 5K, so it's only 1K further. Whereas the men run 8K all season until regionals, and then in Division I they jump up to 10K. That's a large debate for a whole another day, or just have everybody run 8K, whatever. Yeah, but we can debate the merits of that later. In the West Coast Conference, BYU obviously is the favorite here, and they obviously won on both the men's and the women's side, to no surprise to anyone. Connor Mance with the win by 16 seconds, leading BYU over Gonzaga. Pretty solid run by Gonzaga, though. Currently, they are the third ranked, or they went in as the third ranked West team. So if they can have a similar performance at regionals, good chance they're going to make it into nationals. And on the women's side, Gonzaga also took second there. It was actually more impressive that Gonzaga took second on the women's side because they weren't ranked in the top 30 nationally. So they beat the U.S. Number 2017 Portland, a team that's actually ranked 2 spots higher than them in their own region. So again, that's another quality win that if Portland excels at regionals, and this was just a fluke, Gonzaga gets another necessary and key win that might be able to help push them into the meet. So just solid performance by Gonzaga, showing up when it mattered. The ACC. We talked about Notre Dame on the men's side not showing up, even at their own home invitational. They finally showed up, brought the A squad. The goose is loose. Yared Naguse ran his first meet of the year, and they just comfortably won the entire thing. Scored 32 points over Syracuse, Wake Forest, and North Carolina. None of those teams are ranked in the top 30 nationally, but the team that took 5th, Florida State, is not only ranked 19th nationally, but they're also the top-ranked team in the South region, which means they're probably going to automatically get into nationals, which means Syracuse, Wake Forest, North Carolina get a quality win, and that's going to definitely help them boost their resume and hopefully get into nationals. So clutch wins across the board for Syracuse, Wake Forest, and North Carolina by taking 2nd, 3rd, and 4th respectively. And Adrian Wildschut, he won the conference meet. Nationals is going to be on his home course representing Florida State. So even though Connor Mance is the defending champion, keep Adrian Wildschut on your radar. Then on the women's side, North Carolina State, the U.S. number 2 team, they spread 29 seconds from 1st through 5th runner. They had all of their scorers finish in the top 8, and they beat North Carolina by 67 points. So it was just kind of scattershot after that, but North Carolina State doing what they had to do. In the Big 12, it was basically a dual meet on both the men's and the women's side between Oklahoma State and Iowa State. Oklahoma State won on both fronts. Wesley Kiptoo on the men's side took the win for Iowa State, but then Oklahoma State went 2, 3, 4, 6, 9 to win 24-31. Both teams are top 5 ranked nationally, so we'll see them doing battle again very soon. And on the women's side, it was just 1 point separating Oklahoma State and Iowa State. 3, 4, 6, 7, and 15 were the scores for Oklahoma State. So they got to shore up that fifth runner a little bit. But the big news is Celie McCabe from West Virginia for the win yet again. She backs up her wins at Louisville and Nuttycombe. So in terms of individual glory, keep her on the radar because she's definitely making a nice resume for herself going into regionals and ultimately nationals. Let's talk about HEPS real quick. The Ivy League nerds out there, we know them, we love them. Princeton on the men's side had a very quality win. They went 28 points to Harvard's 43. Princeton's ranked 18th nationally. They had a 42-second spread, and their 14th, 15th, and 20th runners didn't score. Or excuse me, their 8th, 9th, and 10th runners scored 14th, 15th, and 20th places, but they didn't score. It's only your top 7 score in cross country. And all of those people were actually ahead of Harvard's 5th runner. So Princeton, crazy deep. When you can put 10 runners in front of your second place competition's 5th runner, that means that they have some pieces they can play around with come regionals. They got the depth there, so not terribly worried about how far their team will fall off if somebody gets sick, injured, things like that. In the Pac-12, really weird day. Colorado took the win on both the men's and the women's side. However, the big news of the day was Washington on the men's side, super overperforming, beating Oregon. So Washington took 3rd, 68 points. Oregon took 4th with 72 points. So a quality win for Washington, which came in the 26th ranked team nationally and actually 3 spots behind Oregon in the West region. And Cooper Tier lost by 10 seconds. Everybody thinking Cooper Tier going to be an individual threat. Obviously, we know what he did during the track season. But Charles Hicks from Stanford, the freshman, but it's a COVID year / red shirt, so like everybody and their mom's a freshman. Anyway, Charles Hicks wins by 10 seconds. Kai Robinson takes 4th. Basically, all of Stanford's top 5 either have freshman or sophomore eligibility, so they are going to be sick for the next 3 years, and they just showed that come postseason, they are still going to be ready to perform, so get excited. On the women's side, Oregon made up for their men screwing the whole thing up. They are not ranked in the top 30 nationally, but they beat 2 nationally ranked teams, including the top 2 ranked teams in the West region in Washington and Stanford. So by slotting in 3rd, they got some big quality wins against those 2 teams. And so even if they take a step back at regionals, there's a good chance they're finally going to make the national meet. And because Matt is in the chat, the Ohio Valley Conference. On the men's side, Eastern Illinois for the win by 4 points over Belmont, paced out by Dustin Hatfield and Jamie Marcos going 1-2 in the conference meet. On the women's side, they also had the top 2 finishers individually, but Eastern Illinois take 3rd behind Belmont and Tennessee Tech. So that's I knew he was here. I'm looking out for my buddy. There will be
he's
no
already been chatting it up. He's asking if he should book his flight to nationals.
Listen, I would say if you guys are a school that has like an end of the year party, like an end of season party, I would just book my flight to campus. That's probably where your money will be better spent there. But hey, I'm not going to yuck anybody's yum. But then that's just Division One. A whole bunch of other things happen. Regionals in 2 weeks. Get excited. 1 day of just pure bananas shenanigans. It's going to be great. But let's run through Division 3 really quick. Most importantly to this podcast, the NESCAC conference. Williams wins on both the men's and the women's side. Aiden Ryan, who we've talked about before, the number 1 runner from Williams, actually was a DNF on the men's side. They were still able to beat Middlebury. So that, again, great for the Williams men's depth. But we got to see what happens with Aiden Ryan because he was not just pacing out that Williams team who's ranked top 3 nationally, but was a threat to win the individual title outright. In the OAC, Alex Filippo John Carroll wins by 47 seconds over the 8K distance, leading John Carroll to a 25-point win over Otterbein. The women also won. The women of John Carroll also won. In the SIAC, Pomona Pitzer beat CMS 34-42, with all 7 runners from Pomona Pitzer beating CMS's 4th runner. CMS flipped the script on the women's side, though. The number 2 ranked team nationally wins with their taking places 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 12 to dominate over the 3rd ranked national Pomona pitcher. Ladies, Johns Hopkins wins on the women's side in Centennial, and the new MAC MIT won on both sides. Wisconsin lacrosse had a huge win over Wisconsin Whitewater. Wisconsin lacrosse went in the 11th ranked team, Whitewater the 8th ranked team. So quality win. And Michael Fassbender is the actor. David Fassbender, the Whitewater runner, he won by 4 seconds, but it is what it is. And then the American Rivers Conference, Wartburg crushed it on both the men's and the women's side. So basically everyone who was supposed to win did win in Division III. We will see what happens in a few weeks' time at regionals. And again, for Division III, unlike Division I, only the top team from each of the 10 regions automatically goes. And then it's just a coaches committee where they sit around in a room and say, who should go in next? And then it's basically a pissing match for who has a better resume. So every win, even in a conference, especially if you have a deep conference, matters if you're not going to be the number one team in your respective region. Looking forward to this weekend, Division II, not to be forgotten. This is their regional weekend. They're on a completely odd schedule. So for their 8 regions, the top 3 teams automatically qualify. And then there's like a whole calculus of the final 10 teams that go in, as well as like 70 something individuals. So if you're looking for fun postseason entertainment on the cross country front, D2 regionals happening this Friday and Saturday. I might just be Saturday. I got to pull up the calendar, but that was the weekend. That was in the cross world. This upcoming weekend, all's going to be busy, but just in the road world, because we have the USATF 5K championships going down in New York on Saturday. We've got just a pretty stacked field on the men's side, especially. We got Paul Chalimo scheduled to run, Matt Centrowitz scheduled to run, Erica Vila, Sam Chalanga, Bia Simbasa, who just won that 10-mile USATF champs and the 25K USATF champs. They're all scheduled to be there, as well as some of the 10-man elite dudes. It's basically, if you have to be in New York for sponsor obligations, you're probably running this 5K and trying to get a healthy payday and a bit of that $60,000 prize pot. And on the women's side, Wayne Kalati, Erica Kemp, Gwen Jorgensen, Kim Conley, a whole host of folks on the women's side as well, ready to step it up the day before that New York City Marathon going down on Sunday. And it's just going to be it's going to be a wild day in New York. I'm going to take a beat and drink a little bit of my drink, and you let me know if there are questions thus far that I need to address, or if you just have thoughts, feelings, or emotions.
I mean, the biggest thing is we got Matt Feldick in the chat here saying that ranked 6th in the Midwest for EIU. Come on, dude. That's it.
It could happen.
That's it.
Anything is possible.
Yeah. For those of you in the chat, I did drop a poll, so be sure to reply to the poll. Thank you very much. We'll get back to those results at the end. So random. I'm just playing around with the tech. I'm trying to get more in the I just need to learn more about all of this live streaming stuff. It's gonna get good.
Very, very confusing.
So we are going to talk and jump into the Javelin 100 here in 1 second. We do have a quick question from Charlie Seymour. He's asking how much of the Mcdowell Mountain Frenzy race overlaps the Javelin 100 trails, and that's a great question. So I mentioned that a little bit earlier. I am running that race. It's a 50-miler in the same park as the Javelin 100. It was the very first Aravaipa race, like self-created, that back in 2010. And it overlaps with a fair bit of the course, like the Escondido Trail, which was the end of the Javelina Loop, is kind of where you start that race. And then you're on Pemberton, which of course is the main trail for the Javelina 100. And that's kind of what you use to make your way around the park, but you end up going wider out and exploring more areas. So I would say if you want a full tour, if you've run Javelina 100 before, and that's the only course or the only trails you've ever run, come and run the Mcdowell Mountain Frenzy 50K or 50-mile, and you will explore most of the trails in the park, well, of the exterior of the park. So check it on out. Let's see here. Javelina 100. Let's get into it. 19th annual. That's insane. Took it over. I first organized it. The first race I ever organized, it was its 6th edition. And here we are. 19th is in the books. So thank you first off to everyone that came out. Thank you to our staff, our volunteers, everyone that helped make this event and has made this event so special over the years. It's truly, it feels definitely like a reunion of all kinds of people coming out. So we hope that you had an amazing time out there. I would love your feedback. So if you want to reach out to me, send me a message on how we can improve, make the event better for all of you. I'm all ears on that. So appreciate that. Where should we start? Should we talk about how the races played out? I know we did do a live stream, but for those of you that we're maybe out running this weekend and living your life, we can kind of jump into that. We're going to try and go to another scene here. Hopefully we won't lose all of our audio. Hello.
I got you.
Are we still good? I think we're still good. If we're not good, say something. So, got some results here. You can find these javelina100.com. You can check them out. But let's go to our 100-mile results here. Take a look. So, Arlen Glick, we talked about him in our preview last week. I think at the time we said he had won like 5 of his 6 last hundreds. It turns out I think he's 9 for 10 all time now, including a win at the Javelin 100 and a golden ticket to Western States 100. He's kind of the low-key new king of hundreds. I don't know of anyone else with this record, period, in history. So the only race that he has lost, he PR'd with a 12:57 at Tunnel Hill, and that was to the one and only Tiger Van Etten. Every other race, every other 100-miler he has run since, and he just got started in 2019, he's won. So from talking to him briefly at the finish line, he's from Ohio. So a lot of the races he's won are Midwest races or East Coast races, but it's not like he's picking races that no one runs or that doesn't require a fast time. He's running, 13-something at Umstead, 12:57 at Tunnel Hill. Now Javelin 100, a 13:14, third fastest all time on a hot day. So it's exciting. He signed up for Javelin 100, I believe, once he saw it was a golden ticket race, and he said, this is my shot. I'm the 100-mile guy. I'm going to go for golden ticket. He claims that 100K is too fast for him. I find that a little hard to believe, because how many guys can run sub 13? I think he would do just fine at 100K personally, but it doesn't really matter because he got his golden ticket. He punched it here, and I'm glad he did it at Javelin 100. So Arlen Glick, that's a name that you now are required to know, okay? Like, Javelin 100, big deal. He won the race, so now he's not a no-name anymore. He definitely wasn't a no-name, I'm sure, to the Midwestern folks, but I would say probably a little under our radar, and definitely on the national scene. Following close behind him was Ryan Montgomery. I'm trying to remember where I first learned about Ryan, but I know that at Desert Solstice last year, of course, he was battling my brother, and he was second in a time of 13:33, and they were fairly close all day. So trying to see at mile, they were actually running together for the first 42 miles of the race, so the first 2 loops. Then there was a bit of a separation, still within a minute and just about a minute through halfway. And then there was, even up until 61 miles, they're 3 minutes apart. I mean, it was such a close one all the way through, basically. Cole Watson, who was this his debut 100 or just his first 100 completion?
I think it's his debut 100.
Sweet. So he was a few minutes back most of the day. Didn't quite ever run with those guys. But we're talking at mile 57, he was 3 minutes behind Ryan. And he finished in 13:49. So, obviously a little disappointing for him outside the golden ticket spot since the first two accepted their tickets. But you can't be too upset with a sub-14 debut at the Javelin 100. So really excited for Cole coming out here. Strong performance. A sub-14 at Javelina doesn't happen very often. And then we've got to talk about Camille Herron. Calling it before she steps up to the line. She's had a bit of an up and down year, maybe mostly a down year, I would say. But she was on fire at this race. Last year she dropped, and I think that's been on her mind ever since. She, of course, I think excels at a course like this. She has a win at Black Canyon, so she knows what it's like running in Arizona. She lives here now, and she ended up 14:03, new course record by 49 minutes, I believe. Finished with the lightsaber, which I thought was pretty sweet. Very fitting for the Javelin 100. But yeah,
we'll come back to that. Yeah,
she had a healthy win margin here. She won by an hour and 45 minutes, placed 4th overall, and again, course record. Incredible performance. I mean, probably in the running for performance of the year, I would say, for Camille Herron. Joe McConaughey, he was calling his shot running a 13:30. Not too far off, I would say. 14:13 for 5th place. Probably not what he wanted. He did post a race report. I haven't been able to read that quite yet, but definitely going to check that out later. But I think we're going to see a lot more from Joe coming up. Maybe we'll see him at Black Canyon. You never know.
I mean, in fairness to him, he also said that 13:30 would probably win the race. And if Arlen had negative splitted the race, he was correct. Like, they were definitely out at about 14 to 14:20 pace early on. So 13:30 would have definitely been in contention. Obviously, would have been at least golden ticket eligible. So, I
feel like the golden tickets brought out some great performances this year.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've ever had 3 guys under 14 hours. I can't say. So that is amazing. And, of course, a women's course record. Even Brittany Peterson, our 2nd place with a 15:47, not a bad time. That's a great time.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, she looked comfortable, running that time. Like, if you don't have a Camille out there who just, obliterates the old course record, we see Brittany's performance as the true strength that it was, but it's just because it's being judged against what was just an absurd performance by Camille that,
right.
I think people wanted to discredit him. No, that's a very, very strong day for her nonetheless. So she should be very happy with that.
I mean, our top 3 men were in the top 10 all time for this race. And for the women, Brittany Peterson ran 7th fastest all time. So that's pretty much all you need to say. We've only had 8 performances under 16 hours for women. So I would say golden ticket, Javelin 100. I think it lived up to the hype, I'll say. I think it was a great race. I'm probably biased, but, we saw some great performances, and it's so cool to see those golden tickets being handed out at a 100-mile race. I think it's just a great fit. Love it. And, of course, 3rd place, Brittany Peterson already in Western States. So that 3rd spot on the line was going down kind of to the wire. Mm-hmm. So at halfway mark, Tessa Chesser and Lottie, gosh dang it, Lottie Zeeler, they were running stride for stride. Tessa was behind 2 minutes at mile 61. They're running back and forth. All the way I'm going down the line here. Even as far as 80 miles in, 3 minutes separating them. And Tessa pulled it out, 16:25. I think this is her second 100-mile finish for Tessa. And Lottie, first 100-miler, it's her debut, 16:50. And Tessa ends up with the golden ticket. Pretty awesome.
I do believe you're correct that this is only her second 100-mile finish, the last one being a third place at 2019's edition of Run Rabbit Run. So good to see that she is maintaining bronze position at her 100-mile races. Let's see if she can carry that momentum forward into Western States, or hopefully for her, improve it a little bit.
Definitely. So Javelin 100. That's your top results right there. There are, of course, like a host of amazing performances throughout the event. We could go maybe into our 100K a little bit. That also happened.
I just want to point out, before you even read the results, what did I say last week and what did I say on the live stream? Don't be surprised if we scored cross-country style, the men and women against each other, that the women could potentially beat the men. And it almost happened. That's how good.
In the 100K.
In the 100K.
Yeah.
It was actually very close if you scored it out 5 deep. So I stand by the prediction I made. It was damn close. The women in the 100K definitely made it very interesting. So the results.
Yeah, it was 30-25, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So Tyler Andrews, he was running, let's see, Luis Resendez was running with really close to Tyler, I believe, early on.
Yes.
Let me pull up the split times. Let's see.
I mean, he was right up on him through
the
at least the first lap.
The first lap, yeah. And then it kind of it definitely separated out quite a bit. And then it's kind of surprisingly, Forrest Ward, who I don't know much about, he closed real strong on Tyler. Tyler kind of fell back a bit, just 5 minutes separating them. So 8:49, that was a handful of minutes off the course record. So Tyler with the win, Forrest Ward second, and Lewis in third in 10 flat. Kind of fell back. And then Kat Bradley pretty much led wire to wire. She did lead wire to wire on this one. 9:45 for the win. But also closing strong on her was Brianna Grigsby, Tucson resident and Air Viper Racing Team member. Got a shout out Tessa, also Air Viper Racing Team member. And then Lauren Chicomascalo was third in 11:09. So there's your 100K right there.
Yeah, it was wild. The interesting thing about Forrest is he DNF'd last year, so definitely solid redemption for him here at Javelina. And also, this is his first finish beyond 50K. So to show up and put on the performance that he did here, a hard charging second place bodes well. So we'll see what he's bringing back to Northern California. He's done a lot of the local races, Way Too Cool and Canyons. So he'll definitely be one to watch out for in the greater Auburn area, hanging out at that Auburn aid station running store and, tearing it up around the Western States course, and hopefully, earning a bid there sometime soon if he wants to take his talents up another 30-something miles.
Definitely. That is Javelin 100. We had 292 finishers at the 100-mile race. I honestly haven't calculated the total number of runners and drop rates and stuff yet, but I know that we had about highs in the mid-80s, which is definitely warm, especially for out there. Kudos to the runners that pushed through, finished this thing. or even just towed the line. Yeah, great stuff. And hopefully you guys enjoy that Western States qualifier, and we get some Javelina finishers to get picked. It'd be great. Let's see. Charlie Seymour in the chat says Golden Hour was fun. Definitely. So we were watching the Golden Hour. We had quite a few runners coming in that final hour, and there were 3 that finished over the cutoff. So we had a camera, obviously, at the finish line. We had a drone flying, kind of keeping an eye on things, and you need about an hour to get from Rattlesnake Ranch to the finish, like 3.8 miles. And we had a couple people right there, but we were still expecting a few more. And then we had 3 people roll through. It was like 11 to 14 minutes kind of past the hour. And we're thinking, oof, that's going to be, they're going to have to really push it to make it. And I remember seeing with maybe about 12 minutes to spare, Tony was flying his drone pretty far out and was zooming in. We could see like these little figures trucking it, like really moving fast, trying to make it, even though it was pretty, and when he like zoomed out wide, we didn't see exactly where it was until he zoomed out, and you could see like way in the distance was the headquarters where the finish line and everything is, and you still have to run through the whole parking lot. So it's a little bit heartbreaking to see it. And we're like, I don't know. I think they're still about 1.5 miles out with maybe 11 minutes to go. And we had Sonia finish maybe about 6 or 7 minutes over. She's been, training up for this event the whole year. And then we had a couple gentlemen finish maybe like 11, 12 minutes over. So it was really cool, though, to see everyone on site, all the volunteers or spectators, they all made like a spirit tunnel for them all to come through at the end. It was really cool. And that kind of capped off the weekend there. So, yeah, that was our golden hour.
Insane. Yeah,
sometimes you get lucky and they all make it, with like a minute to spare, and it's a lot of drama. But it was like, I think the final dead last finisher had, I think it was either 6 or 8 minutes to spare at the end of the day.
Yeah. And a lot of times people want to compare this to Golden Hour at Western States. Well, yeah, it's basically the same time of day, but it's usually about probably 10 to 12 degrees warmer, around that time of day in Phoenix or Fountain Hills versus Auburn, right? So they're not as beat up by the sun a second time as they're trying to kick in. Whereas, we watched it on the live stream. You were sitting at, 70 plus since, like 9:30 or 10 a.m. In terms of temperature. So it's just,
we cracked 80 by the time the race ended again.
Yeah, like it's just rude. It's not like, hey, if you were within range, you're gonna find this extra burst of energy and like nothing's gonna get in your way. It's like, oh no, it's still the desert. This is gonna be like that burst of energy you're gonna get from like the magnetic pull of the finish line is being counteracted by the kryptonite of this blistering heat yet again. So it's just it's heartbreaking, but it's still a testament to the fact that these people put their heart and soul on the line and so much training to gear up for this. And, they had no quit. They had no quit, even when, officially they weren't going to be reflected in the results. Like they know in their hearts what they put out there on course. And so, we still have to commend them for all of that effort and the crews and the family and friends that all helped them get to that moment.
Awesome. Well, I don't know if anyone in the chat has any more questions about Javelina. That's kind of the recap from this year. Now we're all just going to clean all the equipment and take a deep breath
spray a hose on it and run it back.
Yeah. I feel like I haven't stopped since the race ended And at some point, I'm going to want to kick my feet up for a couple minutes here. But
You mean that hasn't been this past hour hanging with me? All right, cool.
is
Whatever.
it? I don't know. I feel like I'm still on. I'm still doing stuff. Possibly.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, a lot of people were talking on the live stream chat around, and I guess had been reflected by some runners at the expo about the washing machine style being blinding at night with the Kogalla lights and it being disorienting. Obviously, this year and last year we've been going the same direction the whole time. Do you think that now that we've had it one direction for 2 years in a row, you can sort of have some data and thoughts and anecdotes from it that will be staying one direction for the foreseeable future? Or do you think you guys will consider going back to the washing machine style? What instinctually, just like your initial thoughts based on?
Yeah. No, there's chatter. There's anecdotal chatter, right? So there's people for it. There's people against it. The people for it, there's less crowding. It's kind of a better, easier flow, and the no blinding lights at night. I think a lot of our aid stations like it too because it helps with the distribution of people around the course. What happened with the washing machine loop is you get these insane peaks where, especially on the loop 1 turnaround, so you got loop 1 coming around. They turn, they double back. Rattlesnake gets slammed from both sides at the same time. So you're getting like double capacity. And a similar thing kind of happens at Jackass where like the 100Kers are hitting it, the last few people in the 100 mile, and those leaders in the 100 mile are coming back at you. Again, it kind of like really doubles back. So you get these like really crazy peaks and then it like falls apart and there's like no one there. So, I would love to poll like everybody who ran this year, find out if they've run the previous edition with washing machine, and then ultimately what they prefer. Because, if you talk to the loudest voices in the room, I think it can skew things. So, yeah, I don't know. I can see it both ways. So I think we're gonna do that. We're gonna poll the audience and see. So someone says, Thomas Bowling says, washing machine by day, same direction at night. Interesting. And I thought of that too. I thought like, well, what if we reverse, one of the laps? It might just get confusing at some point though. That's my only concern. Like maybe we do 2 in the same direction and then your third one is reversed. That way you actually get to see people. And then it doesn't overwhelm aid stations. I don't know. Or maybe you reverse your second one. That way all the reversing is done in the daytime. So by the time you hit the night, everyone's going in the same direction. You don't have any blinding lights.
Possible, but then you always have the issue of the first loop being longer. And so from a timing perspective for Rattlesnake and Jackass, it's still going to slam them early no matter when you do it. Yeah. So that's a planning factor.
So like if you slam those 2 aid stations, then you're going to need more volunteers. You're going to need more water spigots. You're going to need more ice buckets. So it's something that's solvable, I think. And that might end up being what we do is some sort of a compromise but even then you still would miss people because the first one's longer, so you wouldn't see every single person. I think that's what people love is they love to be able to see everyone. They can watch the leaders on the race unfold. So yeah, it's a tricky one. When the course was designed and the race was designed, there's 150 people out there, not 1,000. So things evolve. Quick question or comment from the chat. They said, we want to see the poll results. So I'm going to end the poll. You don't even know what I said probably or asked.
Cool.
I just said, say what, run flat, stay low, or run steep, get high.
Oh, great. This is going to end well for me.
Okay, we had 29 votes, and it was run flat, stay low, 21%.
Sounds right. Cool. Well, this has been fun. It's been my last podcast. So good luck filling the void of the run flat life. Yeah, that's it.
I think we need to have a new poll that's like run steep, stay low, and then run flat, get high.
That's going to have different connotations.
Oh, that's cool. So Thomas Bowling says Cactus Rose 100 operates that way. They go daytime, I guess they switch, and then nighttime they go the same direction. I've done both. Jennifer Berry says, prefer the same direction, less dust, no light issues, nice to run with, and leapfrog fellow runners versus flybys. So I would probably, like, if I just had, so now you asked for my gut reaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I think the poll is cool and important. Like, getting the data, I think, is great because then we kind of know, like, what is the general sentiment. Like, maybe 85% of the people are like, yes, same direction. I think the same direction is going to stick. Personally, I think there's just too many benefits that outweigh kind of seeing everyone a bunch of times. So, I think it's safer. I think it's probably better ultimately. That's what I got for you.
Cool. Makes my life easier because I'm the one who has to make the splits and prediction spreadsheet. So if we can not change the course again,
like every year,
and I could keep the calculator solid, that'd be awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, we announce the directions of the loop 24 hours in advance. Make sure you keep it straight in your head. That is also a real problem. We have people that they go out and they go the wrong way. And so it's like, what do? You disqualify them. Sometimes people run out 4 miles and they realize they went out the wrong way. So they run back to headquarters. They go out the right way. And it's just like, it is so much easier to have it all the same direction.
Yeah, it's hard, you know. There are, I mean, this conversation alone is sort of highlighted, right? There's like runner preference and logistics and like safety, which is like partially logistics and operational, but also just like,
fun party, and you get to see, like, watch the race unfold and see everyone can see all the costumes. Because like,
I honestly, that would be my question.
The same direction you see, you miss a lot of people. Like, you may not even know they're out there, but with the washing machine, you always see everyone every lap, and so that there is something real to be said about that too.
So the interesting variable is the night race, like the Jackass 31K, because you have a bunch of people who are theoretically like could be hammering because they're only running 19 miles.
Oh yeah.
Versus, folks who are on their third loop, so they're like 50-ish miles in, and to just like have somebody blast past you, or in a costume or like whatever craziness could be happening, from a management standpoint, like that could also be disconcerting. But like at least they're going the same direction as you versus like if they're coming at you. Like
imagine if you had 100 people coming at you, kind of blinding you the whole, but right. There was in the past, there's thousands of people coming at you the entire time. And the trail gets narrow at times too, and I think it's a lot easier to pass from behind than head on. So, and then we also had Thomas Bowling suggests maybe we have Laz just tell people which direction to go. He could just stand out there. Maybe it's randomized. As you're leaving headquarters, you hit a button and then it tells you which way you go. That's
real Squid Game-esque, and I don't know if I can get on board with that. But
okay.
You do you.
Look at that. See, I'm touching into popular culture without even knowing that I'm doing it.
Sure. Yeah, I'll give you that. That's fine. Yeah, it'll have fun figuring this out. This is why I don't work for the company. I just talk to you about it, and then when this podcast ends, I go watch The Bachelorette and go on about my life.
Here, you know what we can do? We can do a poll.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
See, I need to get these Arab Trail Talk podcasts going again so I can just do polls. I didn't even know you could do this.
Yeah, there are many things we should get going again.
That's true. Challenge, like drop bag challenges.
No, not those. We can do challenge videos. There's probably not reduxes of that one per se. But we both have some vlogs. We got some races. We should just like get our athletic careers back on track. How about we start there?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, let's do that. So, yeah, I don't know. What are we gonna do in the downtime? We're about to approach our 1-year anniversary, even though we took like 3.5 months off there. Yeah, we gotta celebrate. We gotta get weird, diversify our bonds, and like commit to some irrational stuff for 2022.
Maybe we do a lot. Maybe I come up your way and we do something.
Yeah. Is that the week after the running event?
Like the actual 1-year anniversary? It was sometime in December, or it could just be at the
like
running event.
early.
We could just make the running event the anniversary.
Honestly, I think the running event might actually be the anniversary. I'd have to go back and look because we have that like unreleased 0 episode.
Yeah.
But I think that might actually be it because by the time we went live, I was like already gone for the holidays and like
could be
remote reporting. So, dude, I think that. Wow. Okay. So if you're in Austin, get excited. You might be able to attend our anniversary live.
It's popping. The poll's popping right away. Thank you all. Keep it going. We'll check back in before we end it. But yeah, Austin's going to be great. I need to book my flight, and then I need to also figure out what we're doing. We should do a lot of vlogging. I feel like that would be the best.
Dude, I have so much content since August.
Have you looked at the Run Steep Get High channel? It is pathetic. It is not good.
Listen, there's basically going to be like a COVID to quad, just like massive video of like, here's everything I did from being completely out of shape to running an ultra after all these other like road marathons and bloody nips and like trying to coach a season. Dude, it's insane.
Oh, shoot. I needed to add a poll option. I didn't do washing machine. I got to end this poll, guys. I'm sorry. I got to relaunch this. I'm an idiot. Okay, so what were you saying? I'm sorry.
Nothing. That was just we're gonna have some like documentary style vlogs. We're gonna have so much content.
Okay, we gotta restart this.
Episodes can be like so late. Absurd. Should I do a super fast New York City marathon preview while the poll's up to get people to vote? Cool. Okay, so already highlighted during the Run Flat news section. In case if you're still listening to this and this is your first podcast, welcome. Thanks for hanging out. The way this normally works is like I talk some track cross country stuff. He talks ultra stuff, and then we just BS. We're not really a news show. We're kind of like cable news if it was less polarized and toxic. So that's what we bring to the table here. So you're gonna get some insights. One of which is this New York City Marathon preview. All right, you have your poll up.
New poll is live. So thank you. Hit it. Let's do it.
All right. So first things first, let's just off the jump talk about the fact that this is the final Abbott Marathon Major of the year. It's not the last big road marathon. Obviously, we have domestically in the United States CIM. We've got Valencia. There's a couple others that are going to pop up. But this is the final Abbott Marathon Major this Sunday in New York City. We have definitely had some changes in the start list. On the women's side, Emily Sisson, Ali Tulamuk, and Des Linden have all dropped. So they will not be competing this Sunday, but we have still some star-studded folks just ready to tear it up through all 5 boroughs. So on the women's side, we have the Tokyo Olympic gold medalist, Perez Jetkircher. She's going to be in New York, as well as 3rd place in Tokyo, Molly Seidel from here in the United States. They're going to be towing the line. You've got Rudy Aga, who is a previous podium finisher at New York. You've got Sally Kipyego, who represented the U.S. in Tokyo, also a previous Olympic silver medalist. You got Lonnie Marchant. You've got Lexi Pappas. Shout out to the old Hayward Area Athletic League because I competed against her in high school, and she handedly demolished me on a regular basis. But then you also have Shalene Flanagan. Is she going to join in the elite field? I don't know. She had a whole Instagram post that was like saving the best for last. She's run 2:35 twice, one in London and then one during the like virtual Tokyo edition. So if she saves the best for last, she goes like sub 2:30. Like there's a world where she is, top 3 to 5 American women and top 10, top 15. Who knows what she can do at this point? She's had 2 weeks off. That's the most rest that she's had in ages in this marathon system. And like she can just blow it up. It's going to be nuts. So let's see what Shalane does. I hope she starts with the elite women. That's all I really want, is to see her go ahead and tear it up. And then on the, I think I still have the, let's see if there's some other notable folks to follow. Oh, obviously, that's what I want to say, the NAZ elite women. So Stephanie Bruce, Kellen Taylor, going to be towing the line. We talked a couple weeks ago about how the NAZ elite men kind of underperformed in Boston. So let's see if the women can sort of, right the ship for the training group. Obviously, we had Alice Wright set the UK 1 hour record this past weekend down in Phoenix. That was another thing that was happening amongst the Javelina stuff. She ran 17,044 meters, I think, off the top of my head. That sounds correct. So the women of NAZ elite are tearing it up. Let's see if the 2 American stalwarts can hold it down in New York, as they have both had quite some solid success at New York previously. You've also got Laura Thweet from Colorado is going to be towing the line. You have Halela Johannes from Nambia, also a sub 220 marathoner. So it's not going to be an easy day for the American women, but they definitely have a shot on a course that doesn't have pacers and is historically the slowest of the marathon majors. It becomes a true strategic race. We could see another solid performance from the American women. On the men's side, if you've been following YouTube, there are a lot of folks that you can get sort of excited about. Noah Droddy is going to be towing the line. You've got Matt Lano. No, Matt Lano actually reported on Monday that he had an injury flare-up, so he will not be in. Shadi Biwat from Northern California officially now, but like a true straight-up like XC Division I college head from almost feels like a decade ago. He's going to be towing the line. John Ranieri, representing Flagstaff, is towing the line. Ben True making his debut marathon, stepping up from the 10K, the like forever 4th place finisher at Olympic trials. He's showing up. Ryan Vale is going to be showing up. Jared Ward's going to be showing up. Joe Stylen going to be showing up. The American men in this field are going to be just like ready to run fast. I'm super excited about how that's going to go down. But they have some pretty solid international folks to battle up against, including Kibiwat Candy making his marathon debut, the half marathon world record holder. Who knows what the hell is going to happen with him? It's going to be absolutely insane to see. Callum Hawkins is going to be showing up. Albert Carrere, who is a 2nd place finisher back in 2019. And then Gurma Bekele Gebra is going to be coming back from his bronze in that 2019 to defend his spot and hopefully move up a little bit. Abdi Nagigi is going to be taking it down. And then apparently he's still on the start list. Kaniza Bekele, the 201 high, 202 low marathoner, and just like incredibly decorated runner that he is. We talked about this like when the whole Abbott Marathon Major started. He only finishes like half of his marathons. So let's see if he gets through New York. But if he does, he could run something pretty crazy. So super excited for New York this weekend. Hopefully you guys can tell me how it plays out because I'll be significantly far behind them. We should almost do a contest. We should do a contest by how much I end up losing to Shalene Flanagan. And just like the closest guess, just like get some gear. Maybe that's the thing. Instead of like guess my finish time, just like guess the margin of which Shalene Flanagan crushes me. Yeah, guess the gap. Yeah. Whoever puts negative something and assumes that I'm going to beat Shalene, I'm going to tell you right now, you're a fool. But we should do that. That'd be interesting. I'll work it up, and then y'all can send something from the warehouse because I'm lazy. Yeah, so that's New York in a nutshell. All the wheelchair participants are back. Marcel Hugh, Daniel Romanchuk on the men's side. And then on the women's side, let me make sure that I quote this correct. Yep, Tatiana McFadden going to be tearing it up out there. So super excited. But Manuela Schar, I think is how you pronounce it because I don't speak Swiss. She is going to be back trying to basically take the Abbott Marathon title on the women's wheelchair side. So basically, if you saw them battling back in Chicago and Boston, they're pretty much here for one last shot at glory in 2021. Cool. That's New York in a nutshell. It's streaming, I'm sure, online, local news. You can just grab that off the internet. So get excited. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be fun. Let me look up the weather because that seems like a
Well, have a blast out there.
I won't.
The one road marathon I've ever run, New York City, and I loved it. It was amazing.
This is true. Oh yeah,
and you should try and beat my time. Yes, exactly. Yep. There you go. There's your benchmark. 2:53.
Yeah, cool. So I basically have to run what my qualifier was again. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not saying it's not going to happen. So
it's fine. I was GoProing, so it's fine. You can do it.
Okay, cool. You don't have to be a dick about it.
We also had a couple questions of the chat. Skizzle, are you planning on running a 100-miler in 2022?
Nope.
Good luck at NYC. You will crush it.
Thank you for the second part. No, I have no plans currently to run a 100-miler, but to be announced first trail 100K coming soon, so get excited.
It's been picked?
It's been picked. The entry is in.
Ooh.
But I'm waiting for the official announcement of the. I feel like one of those like road marathoners where it's like I can't tell you who I signed the contract with, but no, we're towing the line for a trail 100K. So we were slowly moving up finally, but I got a lot of things to do before then.
Are pacers allowed at this 100K?
There's one section towards the end where pacers are allowed. Yes.
Okay. Great.
That's all set.
We'll talk. Okay. What else? BWAT has run 2 sub-64-minute halves here in Sacramento in his lead up. And then Thomas Bowling says, Skylar, somebody screwed up the schedule. Planet Booty is in Austin on 11/19, whereas the running event is 11:30.
Yeah, you're not wrong. If you do have the chance to see Planet Booty live, this new set list is phenomenal. I did see them last weekend, and I will see them in San Francisco the night before Quad Dipsy, actually, because nothing says proper tapers like that 28, 29 hours straight we did this past weekend and dancing and sweating the night before.
I'd expect nothing less.
This is me we're talking about. So it's going to be good. I'm excited. But yes, if you do have a chance to see them on their tour, I will gladly shout out Planet Booty, forever holding a special place in my heart, and just good guys. So show them some love.
All right. What else do we got? Are we wrapping up? Do we want to see the poll results? What's happening?
Yeah, you should see the poll results. I just pulled up the weather.
This is your
for New York
last
real
chance
quick.
to vote. Vote for the poll. Javelin 100. Do you want to see us do washing machine loops? Same direction. Which direction? Daytime washing machine loops? Nighttime same direction? Vote now or forever hold your peace.
Cool. And just so we're all clear, for the 5K championships in New York, Saturday, low of 43, high of 56. Sunday for the New York City Marathon, low of 44, high of 56. Humidity looks not stifling. Just chilling in the...
So that seems like pretty good weather, huh?
I mean, it's like 50 to 70% humidity during the key race times, but
I mean,
from a temperature standpoint, that's not bad at all. That's ideal.
I mean, it sounds cold, but...
All right, Desert Rat, calm down.
All right, we got 21 votes, and I'm going to end the poll, and we'll see what it says here. What do you think it's going to be?
Probably the same direction. Some version.
Here it is.
You say,
with 38%, Washing Machine is the winner.
Wow.
All clockwise, 28%. All counterclockwise, 14%. So I guess technically same direction.
Same direction would win. It's just a function of which direction.
And then the switch day, same direction night is 19%. So it's pretty split, I would say, at the moment. So that's going to be interesting how it plays out with like a larger sample size of participants.
Hey, you know what? We appreciate you all being the initial focus group. We will go to the law of large numbers and expand that poll and see if it holds true. See if you are a representative population.
And we look forward to polls next week. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I guess, yeah. We'll see what you come up with.
Charlie Seymour says he just voted for all of them twice.
Do what feels good. Who am I to tell you how to live your life? But hey, in a democracy, vote once and call it square or something. I don't know. I stopped paying attention in AP US history after the test ended. So
perfect.
That's it. I got nothing.
That's all I got too.
I've been standing in the same spot.
We should get some sleep. You should go.
Yeah.
All right. It's been great. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you next week with a New York City Marathon recap. Will Skyler beat my New York City Marathon time? Tune in live Sunday or here next Tuesday.
There's live tracking.
That's all we
you
got.
don't need to tune it. Just watch it happen. Watch it fail or succeed spectacularly in the live tracking, and then have some drinks for me because it's a Sunday. And if it's Sunday, it's not only meet the press, it's have a good seasonal beer. I don't know what this ending was. I screwed that all up. That's me. Whatever. I've been Skizzle Fresh. He's been Jam Jam. This has been a podcast. We'll see you guys next week. Have yourselves a shitty week.